I'm Wyatt Cash at Scoop News Group, and we're here at FedTalks with Bruce Brody, Senior CISO Advisor on the Cisco security team, and Peter Romness, Cybersecurity Principal, U.S. Public Sector in the CTO office at Cisco. Bruce and Peter, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Wyatt.
Well, Peter, let me start with you. In your opinion, what was the biggest storyline in federal IT over the past year?
Well, I'll be anxious to hear Bruce's take on this, but to me, it's got to be work from home. Over the last year, everybody's had to work from home. We're seeing people get used to it. We're seeing people be efficient at it. We're seeing them be good at it. And I think that the modern worker wants to be able to do this thing that we've been talking about for years, which is work from any time, any place, on any device, and be productive. And we're starting to see that. And along with this work from home, I think what we saw was a big uptick in the number of attacks that were coming at us. So I think that many of the cyber attackers saw it as an opportunity. We talk about an expanded attack surface. Part of working from home is learning how to defend our people and our devices and our data from attack. So I think those were two of the biggest trends. What do you think about that, Bruce?
So I agree 100%, especially in the notion that I think the hybrid work model is here to stay, and the security considerations that go along with that are still being worked on, although tremendous amount of progress has been made. I'll add that from the perspective of what's going on in federal, we're seeing some interesting things taking place. The new administration has come in, new people are being put in place. The Solarium Commission has helped get a national cybersecurity director in place, new personalities at DHS, CISA, and in the Executive Office of the President at OMB. So those are some interesting positive developments. I'll also say that there's a potential for some FISMA reform activity on the horizon that I think we should keep an eye on, which would be also very interesting. It'll be a very exciting year for federal cybersecurity coming up here through the rest of 2021.
Yeah, and I would say that, I agree with all that Bruce just said, and I think it's been really emphasized by the cybersecurity executive order that was recently put out, that really acknowledges the need for looking at cybersecurity a little bit differently. This was started, and this was not completely new to the new administration, but they kind of brought it to the finish line. And it talks about how we can't defend our networks the way we used to, or our whole environments we used to. We can't have a castle and moat approach, and once someone's in, they can get anywhere. We need to start looking at zero trust and all the technologies that enable zero trust.
Well, you both alluded to an uptick in the cybersecurity attacks in 2020 and 2021. Bruce, for example, how can the federal government potentially lead the way to protect information and national interests against adversaries?
Well, so good. The federal capability in this area is growing. DHS CISA is starting to flex its muscles a bit. They put together some resources that are available to industry to help out in the area of ransomware and supply chain risk management. They also have provided resources and are continuing to provide resources. So the strengthening of the federal cybersecurity risk management team at the senior levels, the resources and the information being sent out, the public-private partnerships and the information sharing, I think is helping to address this problem, at least in the early going here.
And NIST is stepping up also, giving great guidance on what a good cybersecurity program looks like, and really helping drive this whole initiative forward.
Well, Peter, let me direct this next one to you for starters, and then we'll hear from Bruce as well. How do you characterize the pace and success of federal digital transformation efforts today compared to the past years before, and what do you attribute that to?
Well, let me start with the second part first. I think that this whole work from home event has really sped up what was going to happen anyway. I've heard many people talk about, it's taken what would have taken 3 to 5 years and shrunk it into 1 year. But to me, what digital transformation is using modern technology, so upgrading what we have to have this flexible infrastructure so that when one of my constituents, be it a citizen or be it somebody in my organization, when they want to do something new to drive the organization forward or to have a better life, that I, as an IT person and as an IT defender, can make things happen faster. It's a more flexible environment. It allows me to stop saying no to everything because it's not safe. And it allows me to start saying yes to things because I can accommodate that now and I can help drive my organization forward. So it's really, I think it's been a really good thing. And I think that we're seeing great progress in the federal government.
Bruce, you care to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I see the progress for sure, and also the attention and the resources being dedicated. They clearly understand what needs to be done here in terms of digital transformation. My heart goes out to these departments and agencies. I've spent over 3 decades in the federal government or facing the federal government from private industry, and I've seen, as information technology took hold in the early days. And how it was cobbled together without a whole lot of frameworks and leadership and guidance to handle day-to-day mission operations. It became very clunky and cumbersome, and quite a bit of legacy systems are out there that need to be retired. And it's very difficult to retire some of them because of the information that's on them and the manner in which they were put together back in the early days and the kinds of languages that were used. And so getting those retired and getting prepared for cloud enablement and digital transformation is an extreme challenge that we should not take lightheartedly. Luckily, there's technology available, there's interest, there's attention, there's drive, there's motivation, and there's resources, and hopefully we can assist the government in getting to the right end state and all live happily ever after.
Yeah, and I can't agree more. I've been working with federal government for over 30 years, and we've been talking about legacy systems for, well, way longer than I've been here. And the idea of trying to get rid of them has been this ongoing desire by everybody, but it's hard. I see this whole idea of digital transformation as a way that can help and a reason to finally get rid of all these legacy systems and really move forward. And it really makes everybody much more efficient.
Well, lastly, gentlemen, what in the federal technology landscape most excites you in the days and months to come? Bruce, maybe you could take that first.
Well, we've mentioned a few of them: digital transformation, migration to the cloud, getting rid of legacy systems. Those are exciting developments. I think the potential to take a new look at the Federal Information Security Modernization Act, maybe straighten out the risk management framework. We realize now that the perimeter is no longer these systems. It's more or less the human being is the perimeter, and human beings are being attacked. And so, maybe FISMA can take a hard look at how we go about, orienting ourselves against the modern threat environment. And then the whole concept of trying to put zero trust in place to help manage this new hybrid work model environment, I think is another exciting development. The federal government, the information technology executives and the cybersecurity executives that are in the federal government deserve a round of applause and hats off for the challenge they have facing them and the amount of effort that they have to put into meeting that challenge. And so on a daily basis, I applaud from the sidelines and see what I can't do to help.
Yeah, and they also deserve a round of applause because they're really opening up opportunities to do some of the things. There's a whole different way of thinking. There's a new way of looking at all of these different problems. And, Bruce mentioned zero trust. I see zero trust as an enabler for almost everything. TIC 3.0 is a result of taking TIC and applying zero trust principles to it. putting the security out at the edge so that you don't have to come back to headquarters every time you want to go out to the internet. So, you know, all of the different programs can benefit from zero trust. And I see that as a huge thing. And the openness and the executive order that talks about zero trust really helps enable that. That's very positive.
Well, Bruce Brody and Peter Romness, thank you so much for joining us today here at FedTalks and just sharing your respective insights on digital modernization, security, and where we go from here.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Wyatt.